I visited Louisville, Kentucky on June 26th and 27th, 2021. Just for the record, I didn't see any cousins kissing each other and I didn't see anyone with missing teeth. Nonetheless, I split up the city and Jefferson County into 13 sections where I'll be able to show the entire city within a series of just over a dozen videos. In this series of videos, you'll see all of the good and all of the bad. So why not share a fifth of bourbon with your best bud or gal and come along to see the entire city of Louisville, Kentucky. I begin the video next to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which was closed while I was here. This road to the right cuts through some woods and leads you right to the gates, which were shut, and you couldn't see anything interesting from outside of the gates, trust me on that. However, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium is right next to the Bobby Nichols Golf Course and is a popular attraction for ghost hunting. Apparently, you need to purchase tickets well in advance if you're going to get in, and all of the details are on their official website. Since the gates were closed, I wanted to fly my drone and get some shots of the sanatorium, but I was too chicken to try. Legally, as a commercially licensed unmanned aircraft pilot, I'm allowed to launch a drone from any land that is considered to be public, which includes roads, sidewalks, and public parks, unless there's an ordinance written in place that overrules the federal law. The thing is that I can't always count on the fact that other locals or even law enforcement will know those rules. Plus, when you factor in hearing all of the drone flying horror stories of pilots getting arrested even though they're in the right, and with coming close to being involved in a few confrontations myself when it comes to what people think the rules on flying drones are, my paranoia just happened to kick in. But that must have been because I was right by the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, right? Anyways, this is going to be my 13th and final video on my series where I've traveled through the entire city of Louisville, Kentucky. This video will be going through the far southwest side of the city, and even though this area will be within the Louisville city limits, most locals refer to the areas down here by the names of Pleasure Ridge Park and Valley Station, as these places were originally census-designated places, which means that they were not an incorporated city or a town, but they were communities that were defined as a concentration of population by the U.S. Census Bureau. In 2003, the city of Louisville annexed all of the unincorporated land within Jefferson County, so today, it's technically a part of the Louisville city limits. Make sure to drop a like for that amazing insight. Speaking of dropping a like, you might as well comment and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm, and it helps these videos that I've made on Louisville get seen by anyone who might be doing a search on the area to find out more about the place, and if you agree that this video is good, and you agree that it should be seen by others, doing that would be greatly appreciated by me. And as I was saying, videos with amazing insights on other places that are similar to what you'll see here can be found in my Louisville playlist and in my Kentucky playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. Just like that, I'm on the campus of Jefferson Community and Technical College. The state of Kentucky has this thing that's called the Kentucky Community and Technical College System, and JCTC is the largest in the entire state system. There's actually 6 campuses associated with Jefferson Community and Technical College, with one being right here, 2 facilities in downtown, and 3 others that serve some smaller communities that are right outside of Louisville. Altogether, there are near 12,000 students that attend the community college. To the right here are a few airplanes, which is random as there's no landing strip nearby. You also have this random electric pole setup thing. It's safe to guess though that all of that is there for some kind of student studies. Yeah, not much else to see here. Time to dip. As we head further south, we get deeper into the area that is known as Valley Station. The area was largely developed in the 1950s and 60s. As the land that Valley Station was built on was pretty low in elevation, a massive swamp used to lay here and it had to get drained before suburban expansion could get built. Valley Station is largely a blue-collar area, and it's a part of the larger 40272 zip code, which does not include Pleasure Ridge Park, which we will go to later in the video. The zip code, however, is home to 38,000 residents, and the median household income is $57,000 per year. 16% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $131,000. The poverty rate is 12%. As we continue to head through, you'll see that much of the housing stock in this area is made up of small brick ranch homes from the 50s and 60s. If you're a part of the middle class and you don't mind driving forever to get to work, looking to live in Valley Station might not be a bad idea. I mean, it's possible that your job is nearby, of course, but most of the employment seems to be quite a hike from Valley Station. That might be another reason why this part of town has lower home values, as it's not only far away from jobs, but it's far away from nightlife and other amenities too. That is, of course, unless you're someone who gets their nightlife entertainment from shopping at Walmart or going to one of the trashy strip club joints up in Shively. Plenty of those up there. As we continue on though, every street in this residential area looks the same, with small brick ranch homes with a driveway and a one-car garage, maybe a two-car garage every here and there, no sidewalks, mowed grass with ditches on the sides of the streets to carry the overflow when it rains heavy, not too much else to it. Well, I did want to share this with you guys. As you can see here, this area of Valley Station and Pleasure Ridge Park that I go through in this video is pretty crime-ridden. You can see there's a lot of property crimes down this way. Now, I can't find exact crime rates for these zip codes or these neighborhoods of Louisville like I've been able to with other places, but you can just tell by looking at this map that the property crime rates at least are fairly high, and the violent crime rates might not be as high as some areas on the west end of Louisville, but better lock your cars and watch out for all the crackheads, that's all I'll say. Straight ahead is Valley High School, home of the Vikings. Niche.com gives Valley High School a C, which could be better. Seems to go along with most of the rankings for the Louisville area high schools, though. And this is the main thoroughfare through Valley Station, which is called Dixie Highway. For whatever it's worth, originally this highway was called the Salt River Turnpike when this was all still swampland, as the highway heads towards the confluence of the Salt River and the Ohio River further southwest. Today, the highway is full of rundown strip malls with your classic cheap fast food and retail chains. You can also see your occasional trashy liquor store up and down this highway. Now we head west through another small residential area before reaching another main route that parallels the Ohio River. Here we pass by the Sun Valley Golf Course, which seems to be an alright course. And as you look around once again, this residential area looks a lot like the other residential areas throughout Valley Station, with single-story brick homes, and they're not that big, and they were all built around the 50s and 60s. Same thing in this neighborhood with the same type of brick ranch homes everywhere you look. We are now in Pleasure Ridge Park, which is Valley Station's twin brother. Same demographics, same housing stock, Same economic numbers, same cheap fast food joints and retail shops along Dixie Highway, same white trashy-like names for their places, both even have a Walmart off of Dixie Highway. Pleasure Ridge Park is a part of the 40258 zip code, which is home to 26,000 residents, and the median household income is $53,000 per year. 14% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $127,000. The poverty rate is lower than I thought it would be, given the lower median household income and the lower median value of housing, but the poverty rate of Pleasure Ridge Park is a low 8%. This is Pleasure Ridge Park High School, home of the Panthers. Niche.com ranks the school as a C+, which could be better, but at least they can wag their finger at the lower Niche.com ranked Valley High School, who only received a C ranking. Among the most notable alumni of Pleasure Ridge includes former pitcher in the major leagues, Scott Downs, who had a 14-year career, current NFL nose tackle Brandon Dunn, who's a free agent, NFL wide receiver Tywan Taylor, who's also a free agent, and journalist with the New York Times, Stephen Wines. So how many liquor stores has it been to this point? Anyone? Because if you can count, I'll give you a scratch and sniff. Bourbon scented too. Kentucky bourbon, that is. Well, earlier we were on Dixie Highway in Valley Station. Why not check out Dixie Highway in Pleasure Ridge Park? Now, the Dixie Highway was one of the first cross-country highways to get built in the U.S. It was planned in 1914 and it was constructed in phases from 1915 to 1929 in what was a network of highways instead of one single highway. There are two starting points in the north, in which one of them begins in Michigan and the other begins in Chicago. Both routes split up and take multiple paths, but they all head south towards Miami, Florida. Now, I've been on several stretches of roads throughout the Midwest that have the name of Dixie Highway in different cities, and for whatever reason, most of them look like this. Main drags with cheap retail, cheap fast food joints, and worn-out strip malls that were never much of anything to begin with. And dare I say that they all seem to have a trashy vibe to them. This is Holy Cross High School, home of the Cougars. Holy Cross is a co-ed private Catholic high school. The school was established in 1984, and among the most notable alumni is NASCAR driver Ben Rhodes. When it comes to the history of Pleasure Ridge Park, the area was first settled by German and French immigrants in the middle 19th century. Now obviously the suburban mess that we mostly see here today didn't start until the 50s and 60s, which was around the same time that nearby Valley Station was built up. Believe it or not, this area was considered to be a tourist spot for people that wanted to get away from the city. There was a railroad station here along with a summer resort even. Well, today this isn't really a summer resort, as you can tell. It's more so of a blue-collar, lower-middle-class area. Other things of note include that before the National Prohibition, there used to be a distillery here that was known as the Pleasure Ridge Park Distillery, but that's no longer here. In 1984, the city of Shively tried to annex Pleasure Ridge Park, but Pleasure Ridge Park folks weren't having any of that. It's like they were admitting that they were trashy, but not near as trashy as Shively. Yeah, just kidding. They probably didn't say that. Or, actually, maybe they did. Well, who knows? You'll have to ask them. And oh hey, speaking of Shively, we're driving on the southern border of that city right now. If you want a more in-depth video on Shively, check out the video link in the top right corner of your screen. To the right you have the grocery store. You also have a tanning bed and laundromat combo. You had the Hooters back there at the intersection with Dixie Highway, liquor stores all over the place. Seriously, what more could you want? And to the right is Western High School, home of the Warriors. I show better views of this school in my video on Shively, which can be found through the link that I shared earlier, or in my Louisville playlist, which is linked below. Niche.com gives Western High School a pretty low C- grade. And this up here is Riverview Park, which is right off of the Ohio River. Well hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my Louisville playlist to see what other places around the Louisville metro area are like. We'll see you next time. Peace!